You did the hard part. The first week felt rough, then you adapted. And yet weeks later you feel flat, tired, and oddly unmotivated. That delayed low-carb fatigue is real for many people, and it usually isn't about willpower. It's about a few predictable bottlenecks: fluids, electrolytes, total energy, thyroid signaling, sleep, and training recovery. The tricky part is that these problems can build slowly.
You might feel fine at first because stress hormones temporarily prop you up. Then the bill comes due.
In this breakdown, you'll learn the most common reasons energy drops after the adaptation phase, how to recognize each pattern, and what to adjust without turning your diet into chaos. The goal is simple: keep the benefits you wanted from low carb while removing the hidden drains that make you feel like you're running on fumes. Moving to slide 2. First big cause: you're still losing sodium and water, just more quietly. Low carb lowers insulin, and lower insulin makes your kidneys release more sodium. Water follows sodium. Early on, you notice it because the scale drops fast. Later, the loss is smaller but constant, especially if you sweat, drink lots of plain water, or eat mostly unprocessed foods with little salt. The result can feel like low energy, lightheadedness when standing, headaches, and a wired but tired feeling. Many people also notice their workouts feel harder for no clear reason. This isn't about eating junk. It's about replacing what your body is excreting. If fatigue improves noticeably after a salty meal or broth, that's a strong clue. And if your blood pressure runs low, the effect can be even stronger. Think of sodium as the baseline that lets everything else, circulation, nerves, and muscles, do their job. Moving to slide 3. Next, potassium and magnesium. Sodium gets all the attention, but these two often explain the heavy legs and muscle fatigue that show up later. Potassium helps nerve signals and muscle contraction. Magnesium supports energy production and relaxation. When carbs drop, food choices often narrow. People eat fewer fruits, fewer starchy plants, and sometimes fewer total calories. That can reduce potassium and magnesium intake without you noticing. Add sweating, coffee, or high training volume, and the gap widens. The signs can be cramps, twitching, restless sleep, constipation, or that feeling that your muscles are weak, even when motivation is there. It's also common to confuse this with not enough protein, when the real issue is mineral balance. If your diet is mostly meat and fats with limited vegetables, this becomes more likely. The key idea is simple: low carb changes your mineral needs and your mineral sources at the same time. Moving to slide 4. Another common cause is simply not eating enough energy. Low-carb diets can crush appetite, especially at first. That sounds great until it quietly becomes chronic undereating. If your calories stay too low for too long, your body adapts by reducing output. You might feel cold, less spontaneous movement, lower training performance, and that dull fatigue that doesn't feel like sleepiness. It feels like your engine is turned down. This can happen even if you're eating plenty of protein, because protein is filling and fat can be hard to scale up without noticing.
People also underestimate how much energy they were getting from carbs before. If you're active, or you've increased steps and workouts while dieting, the gap gets bigger.
The important nuance: you can be fat adapted and still be underfueled. Adaptation changes fuel preference. It doesn't magically erase energy requirements. Moving to slide 5. Now let's talk about stress hormones. Early in low carb, many people feel surprisingly energetic. That can be a real benefit, but sometimes it's partly adrenaline and cortisol helping you maintain blood sugar. If carbs stay very low while life stress is high, sleep is short, or training is intense, that stress response can become chronic. Weeks later, you don't feel amped anymore. You feel depleted. You might wake up tired, crave stimulants, and feel anxious or irritable for no obvious reason. This is also where people say my diet was working, then it suddenly stopped. It didn't suddenly stop. The stress load slowly exceeded recovery. Low carb isn't automatically stressful, but it can reduce one easy source of quick energy. If everything else in your life is demanding, that matters. The practical takeaway is to look at the whole system: diet, sleep, caffeine, and workload, not carbs in isolation. Moving to slide 6. A big, under-discussed factor is thyroid signaling. Carbohydrate intake can influence conversion of T4 to T3. the more active thyroid hormone, and it can affect leptin, a hormone tied to energy availability. In some people, especially with aggressive calorie deficits, T3 can trend lower. That doesn't mean something is broken. It can be a normal adaptation to conserve energy. But you can feel it: cold hands, sluggishness, lower exercise tolerance, and a sense that your metabolism is running in low gear. This is more likely if you're lean, dieting hard, or doing lots of endurance work. It's also more likely if you've been restricting for a long time without breaks. The important point is that low-carb fatigue weeks later can be an energy availability signal, not a character flaw. If you suspect this pattern, it's worth discussing symptoms and labs with a clinician rather than guessing. Moving to slide 7. Let's separate fat adapted from glycogen empty. Even on low carb, you still store glycogen, just less of it. Glycogen isn't only for sprinting. It also supports high-intensity sets, faster pace changes, and sometimes even how energized you feel day to day. If you train hard or you do a lot of intervals, you can end up chronically under-replenished. The result is a very specific fatigue. Your warm-up feels fine, but you hit a wall early. Your legs feel like they have no top gear, and recovery takes longer than it used to. Some people respond by adding more caffeine, which can worsen sleep and make the whole cycle worse. This is why targeted carbs, used around demanding training, help some people without breaking the diet's overall structure. The key is matching carbohydrate level to the intensity you ask your body to perform at. Moving to slide 8. Sleep is another major reason fatigue shows up later. Low carb can improve sleep for some people, but it can disrupt it for others, especially if total carbs are very low and dinner is very light. Carbs can increase tryptophan availability in the brain, which supports serotonin and melatonin pathways. If you're waking at 3 a.m., feeling hot, or your mind is racing, that can be a sign your stress hormones are rising overnight. Then you compensate with coffee, and the next night gets worse. Over weeks, the fatigue becomes your new normal. The frustrating part is that you might not feel sleepy. You just feel less resilient. If this is you, the fix is often about timing and adequacy. Enough dinner, enough minerals, and sometimes a small amount of carbs later in the day. Sleep is not optional on low carb. Moving to slide 9. Let's talk about digestion, because gut issues can look exactly like low carb fatigue. When people cut carbs, they often cut fiber types that feed beneficial bacteria. Some also increase sugar alcohols, protein bars, or large amounts of dairy. Others go very high in fat, which can be hard to digest at first, especially if gallbladder function is stressed. The result can be bloating, irregular stools, reflux, or just a constant heavy feeling after meals. And when digestion is off, nutrient absorption can suffer, which feeds back into low energy. Another sneaky issue is low stomach acid symptoms, which can overlap with high-fat meals and stress. You don't need to overcomplicate this. Start by looking at food quality and tolerance, whole food fats, enough non-starchy vegetables, and fewer keto products. If fatigue comes with GI discomfort, treat that as a primary clue, not a side note. Moving to slide 10. Micronutrients matter too, especially if your low-carb plan became repetitive. Two common ones are iron and B vitamins. Iron supports oxygen transport, and low iron can feel like breathlessness, weakness, and poor exercise tolerance. B vitamins support energy metabolism, and low intake can show up as fatigue and brain fog. This isn't a claim that low carb causes deficiencies by default. It's that diet simplification can. If you removed fortified grains and also aren't eating enough seafood, eggs, leafy greens, or organ meats, gaps are possible. Another one to watch is iodine, especially if you stopped using iodized salt and don't eat seafoods. The responsible approach is not to self-diagnose from symptoms alone. It's to notice patterns. And if fatigue persists, consider labs with a clinician. Nutrients are the small screws that keep the whole machine running smoothly. Moving to slide 11. Another pattern is inflammation and food sensitivity, especially when low carb turns into lots of the same foods. Some people increase eggs, dairy, nuts, and certain sweeteners dramatically. If one of those doesn't agree with you, the result can be fatigue, brain fog, joint stiffness, or skin flare-ups. This can appear weeks later because exposure accumulates and your baseline slowly shifts. It's also easy to misread. You assume low carb stopped working, when the real issue is a narrow ingredient list. The simplest test is variety and subtraction. Rotate protein sources, change fat sources, reduce ultra-processed low-carb snacks, and give changes enough time to notice a trend, not a single-day reaction. The point isn't that these foods are bad, it's that tolerance is individual. If your energy improves when you simplify to whole foods you digest well, that's valuable information you can use long-term. Moving to slide 12. Training is where delayed fatigue often becomes obvious. Low carb can work well with strength training, but the margin for error is smaller if you combine hard lifting with lots of conditioning. If you keep intensity high while carbs are low, you may recover poorly, sleep worse, and feel run down. That doesn't mean you must add lots of carbs. It means you should match training to fuel and recovery. Many people do better with a polarized approach. Easy sessions truly easy, hard sessions truly hard, and fewer medium-hard workouts that grind you down. Also watch total volume. On low carb, doing more and more to burn fat faster can backfire. If your resting heart rate creeps up, motivation drops, and soreness lingers, that's a recovery signal. Your diet and training are not separate projects. Moving to slide 13. Let's put this into a simple troubleshooting order. First, check hydration and sodium. If standing up makes you dizzy or workouts feel unusually hard, start there. Second, look at potassium and magnesium through food variety, especially vegetables, seeds, and mineral-rich options. Third, confirm you're not accidentally in a deep calorie deficit for weeks. Fourth, audit sleep and caffeine, because they can overpower everything else. Fifth, match carbs to demand. If you're doing high-intensity training, consider whether your current carb level fits that reality. And finally, if fatigue is persistent, severe, or paired with symptoms like palpitations, fainting, hair loss, or major mood changes, don't biohack it. Get checked. The goal is not to prove low carb is good or bad. The goal is to make your plan sustainable and to respect your body's feedback. When you troubleshoot in the right order, the answer is usually clearer than you think. Moving to slide 14. Here's the bottom line. Fat adaptation is real, but it's not a force field against fatigue. Weeks later, low-carb tiredness usually comes from a mismatch. Minerals outpacing intake, energy intake outpacing recovery, training intensity outpacing glycogen, or stress outpacing sleep. If you correct the biggest mismatch first, you often get your energy back without abandoning the approach. If you want a simple next step, pick one lever and test it for a week. Either increase sodium and mineral-rich foods, or bring calories up slightly, or reduce training intensity while protecting sleep. Track how you feel, not just the scale. If this helped, subscribe for more evidence-based nutrition breakdowns without the hype, and comment with your experience. Did your fatigue improve more from electrolytes or from eating more total food? A or B? This information is not a substitute for medical advice. Energy is a metabolic outcome, not luck.